And that's why the heart feels constricted and upset and down and disgusted with itself when it finishes from a sin, because it's incompatible. It doesn't match. It's like two blood groups. They don't work with each other. Or trying to open a door with the wrong key. You damage the door, or you damage the key, or you damage both. Similarly, the heart has ridges. And the only thing that will fit into the key of the heart is His obedience. Al-Quran and Salah, hijab, the lowering of the gaze, modesty, adab, good manners, masjid, dhikr of Allah Almighty. That's what is compatible with us. That's how we were created. A person who is engaged in regular tawbah to Allah and is connected to Him through this, Allah helps him or her manage their stress and their anxieties and their sadness. Why? Because the human being was not designed by Allah to disobey Him. Your operating system is not in harmony with that. If we veer away from that, Allah sends His reminders through sadness. Wallahi ya ikhwani, if the only consequence of disobeying Him subhanahu wa ta'ala was the misery it brings in dunya, that would be sufficient. Forget about paradise and hell for a moment and all of these things in the grave. Imagine just from a secular, astaghfirullah, and atheist perspective. If it was just that, it would be sufficient to say, live a clean life, because the opposite brings misery. And that is why Sulaiman al-Taymi, he said, a person may disobey Allah Almighty in privacy, and by day people can see the disgrace of the effects of the sin on his face. Wallahi ya ikhwani, whether you realize it or not, the people of farasa, may Allah help us be that person. The people of intuition, the people who see with the light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they see the effects of sins in the faces of people before they talk. And no matter how well kept they may be, and how presentable she may be, and how much they try to hide it, تَعْرِفَنَّهُمْ فِي لَحْنِ الْقَوْلِ, they are exposed. The people who see with the light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is why Ibn Abbas, he said about the miserable effects of habitual sinning, he says, listen to this, إِنَّ لِلْحَسَنَةِ نُورًا فِي الْوَجْهِ وَنُورًا فِي الْقَلْبِ وَقُوَّةً فِي الْبَدَنِ وَسَعَةً فِي الرِّزْقِ وَمَحَبَّةً فِي قُلُوبِ الْخَلْقِ. He says, good deeds, they bring about a light in the face, and a luminosity in the heart, and a strength in the body, and space in your rizq, your provisions, and love in the hearts of people. And the opposite, وَإِنَّ لِلسَّيِّئَةِ ظُلْمَةً فِي الْقَلْبِ وَضِيقًا فِي الصَّدْرِ وَضِيقًا فِي الرِّزْقِ وَوَهْنًا فِي الْبَدَنِ وَبُغْضًا فِي قُلُوبِ الْخَلْقِ. And sins, he says, bring about a darkness in the face, a darkness in the heart, a weakness in the body, tightness in your provisions, hatred in the hearts of people. It's an injury. That's the framing of it. To walk away from my Lord, to miss a salah, to extend a gaze longer than it needs to be, to invest in something haram, to raise my voice at mother and father. All of the other categories of sayyi'at, they are to be seen as injuries. How much can man carry of injuries in his life? أَمْ حَسِبَ الَّذِينَ اجْتَرَحُوا السَّيِّئَاتِ أَنْ نَجْعَلَهُمْ كَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ سَوَاءً مَحْيَاهُمْ وَمَمَاتُهُمْ سَاءَ مَا يَحْكُمُونَ. Allah says, to those who commit sins, Allah said, question, He asks us, think that we will ever make them like those who believe and they do good in life and death? How bad is their judgment? Allah said, I will never make them the same. And what was the Arabic word used here for the expression of commit sins? He said, ijtarahu, which comes from the word jurh, which means injury. So the literal translation of the verse that you heard would be, to those who injure themselves with sins, think, etc., etc., etc. That's exactly what it is. La ilaha illallah. And the Quran says, وَأَحَاطَتْ بِهِ خَطِيئَتُهُ, and his sin surrounds him. And you look at the visual image the Quran gives, the sin that surrounds him, he's trapped, he cannot emerge from it, suffocating. And that is therefore the third benefit for the ta'ib. Allah Almighty emancipates him, frees him or her from this life, from the sijin, from this prison, su'ubudiyyah of slavery to sin, and brings him or her to the meadows of happiness, management of stress, lowering of anxiety.